Okay, guys. Hopefully you're doing well. So we are now on 10. If you seek the best, you may find the worst. Okay, so remember that Jean Valjean was at the Thénardiers. That he's the stranger, if you haven't already figured that out. So he's at the Thénardiers. He's trying to get Cosette. They realize that he actually has money, even though he looks poor. And they basically sell Cosette to him, not knowing that he's a good guy. They sell her just like she's just nothing, like just she's property. So, so that's where we are. The Thénardiers, as was her custom, had left her husband alone. She was expecting great events. When the man and Cosette were gone, Thénardier, after a good quarter of an hour, took her aside and showed her the 1,500 francs. No more than that, she said. It was the first time since the beginning of their ménage that she had dared criticize the actions of her master. The blow struck home. As a matter of fact, you're right, he said. I'm a fool. Give me my hat. He folded the 3 bank bills, thrust them into his pocket, and hurriedly started off, but he made a mistake and turned right. Some neighbors whom he had asked put him in the correct direction. The Lark and the man had been seen going toward Livry. He followed the information, walking rapidly and talking to himself. This man is obviously a millionaire, and me, I'm a fool. First he gave 20 sous, then 5 francs, then 50 francs, then 1,500 francs, just like that. He would have given 15,000 francs, but I'll catch up with him. And then this bundle of clothes, packed beforehand for the little girl. All that was strange. There was a good deal of mystery behind it. It's hard to let go of a mystery once you catch hold of it. The secrets of the rich are sponges full of gold. One has to know how to squeeze them. All these thoughts were whirling around in his brain. I'm a fool, he said. When you leave Montfermeil and reach the turn made by the road to Livry, the way can be seen stretching a long distance along the plateau. Arriving at this point, he counted on being able to see the man and little girl. He looked as far as he could, but saw nothing. He inquired again. Meanwhile, he was losing time. The passer-by told him that the man and the child whom he had sought had traveled toward the woods in the direction of Gagny. He hurried that way. They had the start on him, but a child walked slowly, and he was moving rapidly. And then he knew the country well. Suddenly he stopped and struck his forehead like a man who has forgotten the main thing and who is about to retrace his steps. I ought to have taken my gun, he said. Thénardier was one of those double natures who sometimes appear among us without our knowledge, and disappear without ever being known, because destiny is always only one side of them. Many men are fated to live half submerged in this way. In an ordinary situation, Thénardier had all that is necessary to make, we do not say to be, what passes for an honest tradesman, a good citizen. At the same time, under certain circumstances, under the operation of certain occurrences exciting his baser nature, he had in him all that was necessary to be a villain. He was a shopkeeper in which a monster lay hidden. Satan must have squatted for a moment in some corner of the hole in which Thénardier lived, and studied this hideous masterpiece. After a moment's hesitation, he thought, but then they'd have time to escape. And he continued on his way, moving rapidly, almost certain, with the wisdom of the fox scenting a flock of partridges. In fact, when he had passed the ponds and obliquely crossed the large meadow to the right of the Avenue de Bellevue, as he reached the grassy path that nearly circles the hull and borders the arches of the old aqueduct of the Abbey of Cheffles, above a bush, he caught sight of the hat on which he had already built so many conjectures. The bushes were low. Thénardier realized the man and Cosette were sitting there. The child could not be seen, she was so short, but he could see the head of the doll. Thénardier was not mistaken. The man had sat down, therefore, to give Cosette a little rest. The innkeeper went around the bushes and suddenly appeared before the eyes of those he had been seeking. "Pardon me, excuse me, monsieur," he said out of breath, "but here's your 1,500 francs back." So saying, he held out the 3 bank notes to the stranger. The man raised his eyes. "What do you mean?" Thénardier answered respectfully, "Monsieur, it means that I am taking Cosette back." Cosette shuddered and moved closer to the man. He answered, looking Thénardier straight in the eye and spacing his syllables, "You take Cosette back." "Yes, monsieur, I'm taking her back. I thought it over. In fact, I have no right to give her to you. I am an honest man, you see. This little girl's not mine. She belongs to her mother. Her mother has entrusted her to me. I can only give her up to her mother, you will say, but her mother is dead. All right, in that case I can only give up the child to a person who brings me a written order signed by the mother stating that I should deliver the child to him. That is clear. So remember, Thénardier is not doing this out of any interest of Cosette. He's trying to get more money from Jean Valjean. Without answering, the man groped in his pocket. Thénardier saw the billfold containing the bank bills reappearing. The tavern keeper felt a thrill of joy. Good, he thought. Calm down. He's going to corrupt me. Before opening the billfold, the traveler took a look around him. The place was absolutely deserted. There was not a soul either in the woods or in the valley. The man opened the billfold and took out of it not the handful of bank bills that Thénardier expected, but a little piece of paper, which he unfolded and presented to the shopkeeper, saying, "You're quite right. Read that." Thénardier took the paper and read. Montreuil-sur-Mer, March 25th, 1823. Monsieur Thénardier, you will deliver Cosette to the bearer. He will settle all small debts. I have the honor of greeting you with kind regards, Fantine. You know the signature, the man asked. It was indeed Fantine's signature, and Thénardier recognized it. There was nothing he could say. He felt doubly enraged. Enraged at being compelled to give up the bribe he had hoped for, and enraged at being beaten. The man added, "You can keep this note as your receipt." Thénardier retreated in good order. "This signature is very well imitated," he grumbled between his teeth. "Well, so be it." Then he made a desperate effort. "Monsieur," said he, "it is all right. Then you are the person, but you must settle all small debts. There's a large amount due me." The man rose to his feet and said, while flipping some dust off his threadbare sleeve, "Monsieur Thénardier, in January the mother calculated she owed you 120 francs. In February you sent her a memorandum of 500 francs. You received 300 francs at the end of February and 300 at the beginning of March. Since then 9 months have elapsed, which at 15 francs per month, the price agreed upon, amounts to 135 francs. You had received 100 francs extra. A remainder of 35 francs was due you. I have just given you 1,500 francs." Thénardier felt like the wolf the instant he is being seized and crushed by the steel jaws of the trap. "What is this devil of a man?" he thought. He did what the wolf does. He sprang. Audacity had succeeded with him once already. "Monsieur, I don't know your name," he said resolutely, this time dropping all show of respect. "I will take back Cosette, or you must give me 1,000 crowns." The stranger said quietly, "Come, Cosette." He took Cosette with his left hand, and with the right picked up his staff, which was on the ground. Thénardier noted the enormous size of the cudgel and the solitude of the place. The man disappeared into the woods with the child, leaving the innkeeper stock still and speechless. As they walked away, Thénardier noted his broad shoulders, a little rounded, and his big fist. Then his eyes swung back to his own puny arms and thin hands. "I must be a complete idiot," he thought, "not to have brought my gun since I was going hunting." However, the innkeeper did not abandon the pursuit. "I want to know where he's going," he said, and he began to follow them at a distance. 2 things remained in his possession, one a bitter mockery, the piece of paper signed Fantine, and the other consolation, the 1,500 francs. Okay, so you'll see where they end up, but just remember Thénardier now is really kind of has a bone to pick, feels like he lost to Jean Valjean. So that'll come in handy a little bit later on. So we'll go on to the next video.